My guest tonight is a talented actress whose work spans across popular franchises such as Star Wars, Marvel, and DC Comics. She's lent her voice to iconic characters like Wonder Woman, Gamora, Poison Ivy, and has brought to life beloved animated series such as Star Wars Rebels and Young Justice. Her voice acting career has cemented her as a fan favorite, and her dedication to the craft is evident in every performance she does. And as if all that wasn't even enough, she's a live streaming gamer, a stand up comic, and a former model. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my absolute pleasure to welcome to the show Miss Vanessa Marshall.
Yeah,
We did it! We did it!
I'm so happy to be here, and it's so great to meet you. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my God, are you kidding? The pleasure is mine. I feel like we've been doing this dance, right? We've
Yeah,
been circling back and forth,
yeah,
but we're here.
we did it. We
We
did
did it.
it. I'm so grateful.
Yes. And guys, feel free. Throw your love in the chats. We've already got people saying, hey, it's time. We're here. So let her know you're loving it. As always, if you have questions for Miss Marshall, you just drop them in the chats. We'll get to them. I promise. So first and foremost, what is your connection to the military?
Well, my connection to the military was through my father, and still is, but more predominantly through my uncle. My dad was in the Air Force, but he was a journalist, and he worked doing sort of the news, the radio, like blah blah blah. He was stationed in Heidelberg, and he never was like out among them, And so now, he went on to work at KNBC News. He was a news reporter here in Los Angeles. And when he retired, I dared him to go get his pilot's license. And he not only got his pilot's license, but he has an open cockpit biplane and does aerobatics like a total badass. And that's my guy. My dad is awesome. And all of his friends are Air Force friends, and they hang out at his hangar, and they're hilarious. I love them. Now, a more sort of turbulent version of connection to the military is with my uncle, who was in Hanoi and lost his best friend. And that I've watched how that not only impacts him, but his family. And I care so much. And I'm grateful to be able to be there for him. And I'm deeply grateful for his service. And my parents met at Boulder High School in Colorado. And it's so cool. On Memorial Day, we all do what's called the Boulder, which is a 5K run there. And it's so awesome. It culminates in CU Stadium, and there are these planes that fly over, and it's just a way to, I don't know, help my uncle on that day. So anyway, it's a cause that's very near and dear to me. So thank you for your service.
Well, we thank them for their service. That's an incredible connection. It is one of the hardest things for servicemen and women to lose people that are close to them in the line of service. And it's, something that I've struggled with, and so many others have struggled with. And it's wonderful to know that, folks like yourself, it means something to them and that they care so deeply. Because in a day and age where thank you for your service is so kind of opted and played out, like, it's those that truly feel and have the empathy for and the compassion for those that truly means something. So I thank you for your service to the cause as well. Which I think also ties into my next question, which is before we dive into your career, I always like to get to know the person a little bit. So tell me what charities, what things do you support? What is near and dear to your heart?
Well, Wounded Warrior Project, obviously. And I recently met someone from USO Gaming, so I hope to do something to help support them. I've gotten into gaming recently myself, and I'm trying to find a way to organize these sort of esports events or fan experiences where we give back in some way. So far, we've done that with the Metal Gear Solid event that we'll talk about later. With Wounded Warrior Project, but I also am very active with Step Up Women's Network. That's a charity that young girls and puts them in the workforce and internships and stuff like that. And it's kind of hard for me to mentor I remember I went to like the after school thing, and they were like, I want to be with the producer. I want to be with the realtor. I want to be with the banker. And they were like, what do you do? And I was like, I read English out loud and have been very lucky. You might want to talk to them. So I end up helping them more with social media. I mean, I guess I could probably take on an intern. I do have a production company. And now that I'm live streaming on Twitch, like maybe that would be dope for them. But it's what I do is so mercurial and unstable and lovely at the same time that it's kind of hard to foster a career for a young child in my field. But I do want to give back in that way. And Women for Women is another charity that I support. And SOS Children's Network is another one that Tasia Belen, she told me about that. And we support children all over the world and get them adopted by families. So those are just a few of the causes. But I try, whenever I do cameo videos or shout outs, I try to give to some charity.
That's awesome.
Those are the top ones that come to mind with that question.
No, that's wonderful to hear. The fact that you are blessed, I'm sure you feel to have this wonderful
Mhm.
career and be connected into so many different franchises and different mediums, and to be able to utilize your platform to help others is I'm always just in awe of people like yourself who give so much and so freely of themselves. So, and I think that does segue really nicely into, let's touch on real quick, because again, I want to talk about your career. You have such an amazing, so many good things. But let's talk about MGS Con, which is a first of its kind. This is the first ever. It is in celebration of Metal Gear Solid. What a phenomenal franchise, so beloved by so many.
Yeah.
It's in July. It's in LA. Everything about it is awesome because you've got a lot of the voices from the series and these cosplayers and just like this. It's rare to see a convention that's wholly centric on one such thing.
Yeah, yeah, for
And
sure.
how did you get involved, and how do you see it playing out?
Well, so here, let me sort of step back for one sec. In the pandemic, I spent so much time alone. I'm an only child. I didn't want to get my parents sick. I'm single, so it's not like I have no pets, plants, or what. I can just walk out the door and do whatever I need to do. No one's got to go to soccer practice. I'm very free in that way, which is totally awesome. But I kind of hit a wall in the pandemic, and I was like, you know what? If it isn't fun moving forward, I don't want any part of it. And if I can create fun and figure out a way to pay it forward at the same time, that is my mission. That is what I'm all about. And it occurred to me that voiceover actors are at the Comic-Con conventions all the time because they're in animated shows, which are many of them are based on comic books. So those narratives, they come together. And at one point, voice actors seemed irrelevant at the events. Now they're a foregone conclusion. Now we have all these esports events, and the video game actors are not there. And I don't know if they aren't as big a collectors as I am or we are. Or, I like your background there, buddy. But it occurred to me, what if we could make the experience for these gamers who are at these esports events more magical, more amazing, like something to convince them that people are still good in this world and that it matters that we come together. It matters that we let each other know how much we mean to each other, right? So I was trying to crack this nut, and I eventually was asked to go to a DreamHack event. DreamHack has these sort of esports Super Bowls, I call them. And I was at DreamHack San Diego, and I was at DreamHack Dallas, and I'm going to DreamHack in Atlanta, hopefully. My whole point of going there is to try and bring these video game voiceover actors, friends of mine, so that we can do activations for different things. And one of the things I had thought of was, what if we created like a retro corner that was Metal Gear Solid? Wouldn't that be dope? We could have all, David Hayter, like all these amazing people. And for those who really cherish that game, like they could just love up on, and granted, we're the English speaking version of those characters, and we humbly are grateful for our jobs, et cetera. And we understand that, we're dubbing it over, et cetera. So we have reverence for Konami and the original actors and all that jazz. And in fact, that would be amazing if we could get them to join.
Sure.
But so I get this email from Amanda Bryan. She says, "Hey, I want to create this fan experience for Metal Gear Solid. I don't have any money, but I really love the game. And is there any way you would help me do a crowd-funded, event?" And I was like, "Not only will I help you, but if you can turn some nonprofit aspect to this, if you can give back to Wounded Warrior Project, for example, I'm doing it for free." I said,
Mm.
"Let's go." I said, let me demonstrate through your event exactly what it is that I'm trying to do." And she said, "Holy moly, I can't believe it." And I said, "And you know what? I'm going to call all the voice actors who are in the game, and I'm going to get them to come down as well, because it's the right thing to do. Not only because we've all been trapped in our homes, but because we're going to contribute to a good cause, and we can love on the game. What could, you know what I mean?" So I called, let's see, Lori Allen, Debbie Mae West, Tasia Valenza, all of them hands down were like, "I'm in, of course. Where do we got to go? When?" Greg Eagles. We just got Christopher Randolph, Cam Clark, and we have a few other surprises the day
Yeah.
of. But this is
Paul
July.
Eady was supposed to be there. He had to drop out, unfortunately, but
Yes, yes.
Paul was going to be there.
Paul was going to be there. He booked a job, unfortunately. But yeah, so we VIP meet and greet in the morning if people want to join us at 9 a.m. on that Saturday in person, of course. This is at the Hilton at LAX here in Los Angeles. And we go all day long. And we've got panels. There's a 2 o'clock voice actors panel that there could be some amazing surprises there. There's an artist alley. There's live gaming, retro gaming on site that will be live streaming. There's a cosplay contest, as you mentioned. And then, of course, the actors will be signing autographs throughout, and there'll be photo ops with the video game. So I have my Olga action figure. Like, if you have any of those figures, you can come get them signed by the actors. And then there is a book of fan art that each of us, or all the actors, are going to sign, and that's what we're going to auction off. And that money will be donated to Wounded Warrior Project, along with other funds as well. But that specifically. And then, of course, I can't believe you're going to be there as the ambassador. It's like, it's just heaven on earth. It's like the best day ever. So, and the good news is, if you cannot be there in person, if you're not in Los Angeles or you don't feel like driving down to the airport, we also sell virtual tickets. You can join us all day long virtually. There's going to be a DJ. I mean, this is going to be on fire. And also, Streamily has volunteered to do virtual signings as well. It won't be a typical Streamily thing where "Hi, I'm signing your thing." It's not going to be like that. But if you purchase it, they will bring the photos to the event and we will sign them there, and you will get whatever it is that you want signed. But so not only can you be there all day virtually, but you can also get things signed virtually via Streamly. The info is at MGS, and on socials it's at MGSCon. Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be an amazing day. And my hope and goal is to take this, if it's sort of a successful formula, I'd love to replicate it in San Diego, for example, because, there's a lot of military down there. And we really want to support veterans and give them something fun. I hope to do something with the USO gaming people. And, we would really love for veterans to come out, and anyone who's currently serving, has served, anything. We want to give you like a moment of fun for yourself,
Yeah.
And if we could take it to New York, to London, wherever, there's like huge Metal Gear communities all over the world. So
Absolutely.
that's our goal. And then, I'm streaming. I'm going to start playing on Twitch all the games that I'm in. I'm going to play Shiva in Mortal Kombat. I'm going to play my Black Canary in Injustice 2. There's all sorts of video. I have 122 video game titles that I've been in. I can't believe it. But I'm going to be live streaming all of those. So far, I'm now playing on a PS3, playing Metal Gear, to lead up to the event in July. But from then forward, I'm going to be doing something with the cyber nerds called Friday Night Fight Nights. And I think we're going to be playing Mortal Kombat, and I'll be doing Shiva. And we're going to play that every Friday all the way up to DreamHack in December. So we might get some brackets going. I don't know, man. It's anything's possible. And charity will be happening the whole way along. But that's my deal. And yes, I'm still working in cartoons and doing my day job, but like that's what's giving me the joy and the purpose in my life right now, and connection to some of the coolest people that I've met on social media and just all over the world. So
Well, you've answered all my questions. Thank my guest, Vanessa.
hey, how you doing?
It was awesome. That's great. I can say that I'm personally so very excited, so honored that you guys asked me to come out and support Wounded Warrior Project, which is obviously very near to and dear to my heart as a wounded veteran and as someone who's benefited from their programs, which are 100% free for everyone. They never charge you a dollar for the services. It's a great organization. I'm happy to go and do my part. And obviously, as the pop culture warrior, as the guy that just loves to nerd out on this stuff on video games and movies and TV, it was the perfect, like, my two passions colliding. So
I love it.
it's my joy and absolute pleasure. It is. I'm doing conventions. I just was at Awesome Con. I was at Fan Expo Philly a couple weeks ago. I've got one in New Jersey next week. I'm doing conventions all summer, it seems. That's the one that was like circled on the calendar that I'm like super excited
awesome.
for.
Yeah, we'll have to compare our calendars because I think there's a couple Rebels reunions at different conventions. So if we're Star Wars Rebels, yeah, if we'll have to link up. I like it.
Absolutely.
I like it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be there also because I've had Debbie Mae West on the show. So,
right.
And we had such a great conversation. We really hit it off. I can't wait to finally put a face to the real face that I
for sure. Yeah.
Going from virtual to in person is always exciting. But yeah, I'm excited to be there, to do my part, to talk to all you wonderful actors and actresses and all the people that have played a part. I also have another connection, which I'm very excited because I was just at Fan Expo Philadelphia. Nice. And I bumped into David Hayter and we got to talking and we hit it off. He's a great guy. He will be coming on my show the Tuesday before.
Holy moly.
So awesome. I asked him, I said, listen, would you come on? Obviously for yourself to talk about your work and your career, but also I would love it if we could tie in the fact that Metal Gear Solid Con will be right there the following Sunday after the interview. And he said, absolutely. I'll do. He goes, I couldn't make it he said, I wanted to be there. I couldn't make it because he has a pre-engagement.
He's in Portugal. Yeah,
exactly. I'm overseas. I'm out of the country and everything. Otherwise, that I've been there. But who knows? Maybe we can record a special message. Maybe we can shout out to all the MGS people. The other thing I wanted to say too is I know you guys will have virtual tickets like you mentioned. Maybe, and we can communicate on the side, but maybe we can get a ticket that we could do like a giveaway here on the show. We can drive some,
absolutely.
some people, get the buzz going, as we move closer to the event. That'll be awesome. But that's awesome. I'm very excited to be there. I'm very excited to do that. But you're here to talk. We're here to talk about you. We're here to talk about with you. Now, I almost hesitate to ask you, as this is a pop culture themed show, what is it that you geek out about? I feel like we've already gotten a peek behind the curtain, but if you had to prioritize, what's the top thing? What is the thing that just hits all those bells for you?
I think it's Star Wars. I've got a couple figures. I'm a huge Star Wars nerd, but I'm also a Marvel nerd. So my nerddom, I'm not a hater on any level with. Well, I might be ignorant in a few fandoms, like Harry Potter. Respect the game. Don't like. It's not like, oh my god, I need to like. No, I'm good. Like it's all good. No, love it. But Star Wars is like my jam.
Yeah,
that's
has
awesome. Been for a long time. I also, as you mentioned, I'm a writer, stand-up comic, whatever. But as far as storytelling goes, for me, man, it is just some of the richest storytelling ever. So the fact that I got a part in the franchise just blew my mind, truly. Yeah.
That's so that it predates your work with Star Wars.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. Quick question from the chat. Favorite Star Wars character?
For different reasons. Well, the Chewie was my first action figure. Here he is off of, I love Chewie. When I met Peter Mayhew, I kind of, I don't know, I couldn't breathe very well. Because the strange thing is when you meet Peter Mayhew, his eyes, you can see Chewie's eyes. It's completely bizarre. Of course, Princess Leia. I like Aura Singh. Um, uh, who else? I'm trying to think of other characters that I thirst for and want to know more about. I loved Plo Koon. I had a whole campaign to save Plo Koon. I was like, look, you can bring all these other dudes back to life. I don't know, where's Plo Koon? Come on, dude, let's get a petition going. And I'm trying to think who else. It's really hard to choose.
Choosing a favorite child, man. They're all, you love them
Yeah,
all.
I mean, I've always said Chewy just because again, first figure.
Sure, sure, sure. Speaking of Plo Koon, there's another guy we talked to at AwesomeCon last weekend, James Arnold Taylor,
Yes.
incredible voice actor, also did Obi-Wan,
Yeah.
and what a wonderful guy. We talked for quite a while, and I totally I didn't nerd out at him at all. I mean, I was a professional. I didn't
Oh my
gush.
God.
I
I
didn't
love that
gush.
guy. I think another character I'd love to know more about is Asajj Ventress.
Okay.
I haven't read the book where she has a bad day, but I refuse to read it. I can't. I want to know more about her. I feel like she's so complicated,
Mm.
and that's another delicious role. And of course, Ahsoka Tano. I mean, please,
I
dude,
mean, of course,
let's
total
go. Yeah,
badass.
yeah,
Regardless if it's the voice of Ashley or if it's the portrayal by Rosario Dawson, I
yeah.
mean, what a great character,
Either
absolute
which
character.
way, yeah. I
Uh,
love.
from Chris Brown in the chat, what is your favorite all-time Star Wars show or movie?
Oh gosh. That answer changes year to year, especially with all the content. Andor really blew my mind away. I gotta say, Andor like took my breath away. Clone Wars, Clone Wars took me on a journey and really helped me get through a lot of things. Like so much so that when I met Ashley Eckstein, I was sobbing, which was like, it's not good to ugly cry. I was definitely not professional. She was so sweet. She came to the Rebels record and she brought us sweatshirts from her new collection. And I was just like, oh my God, when you left the Jedi Order, I fully lost my mind. But it's really, I mean, I guess Empire, of course, if we're going to talk about the films. Clone Wars is just something that's very personal and sacred to me.
Yeah.
So if I had to pick in terms of animation, it would be Clone Wars, and Andor was mind-boggling in its
Yeah.
excellence, in
I
my view.
agree. Funny, I mean, I agree. All the properties have their own,
Yeah.
certain they excel in certain things, but it's crazy to me that I like Rogue One. I just it was
Mhm.
so genre breaking for me, and then for Andor to do the same thing in a series form, I was just like, wow, like
Yeah.
that's Mandalorian. I mean, all these.
Yeah.
All these great stories out there. It's incredible. I don't know. I mean, who doesn't love a Jedi? Who doesn't love a Sith? But something about these stories too that are away
Yeah.
from those, right? Like the bounty hunter
Mhm.
side, the resistance side. Like I find those
Yeah.
interesting. They're
I agree.
fascinating.
I mean, I love them all. So again, it's really hard to choose. It really is.
Absolutely,
They're
absolutely.
all
So,
great.
so okay. So let's talk about you for a minute. Give us a sense, and I've done my research. I've not stalked at all. I've learned. I've read up on you.
Okay.
But give us a sense of your background. Where did you come from? How did you find yourself doing this kind of work?
Well, as I said, I'm an only child. I grew up in Los Angeles with two parents who were in different parts of the entertainment industry. Like I said, my father was a news reporter. My mom, her name is Joan Van Ark. She was on Knots Landing in Dallas as Valine Ewing. She modeled a kind of femininity for me that really focused from the outside in, if you will. And I was always wired to seek from the inside out. So I felt like I never fit in here. And the minute I could get out of here, I went straight to England to study. I cannot believe I convinced my parents that they should let me study in England. That was, I mean, I don't know, man, maybe they just wanted me out of the house. But I went over there and I studied at the National Youth Theatre of Great Britain. And I'm a huge Anglophile and have Union Jacks all over my house. And so began my love affair with going to London. And I have lifelong friends who live there, but big fan of the theater. And again, it's storytelling. And I saw the Star Wars movie when I was 10 years old. And that to me just changed my life in terms of, first of all, Princess Leia was a version of female that was like, I want that. I tried to, do my hair just like her and all that jazz. But I finished high school here, ended up going to New Jersey, Jersey strong, going to Princeton. I had majored in English. I thought I was going to major in anthropology because I loved studying the theatricality of religious ritual and the sacred nature of theater. And then I tried the religion department and they thought I was nuts. And I landed in the English department because I could view all those aspects of culture through books and plays. And I said, all right, I'm going to read every book I ever read so I can tell every story to be told. And then a friend of mine, Matt Roush, who's an amazing actor, he needed a scene partner to audition for NYU graduate school for acting. And I was like, bro, I got you. Let's go. So I ended up getting in and not Matt. And I was like, yo, that sucks, dude. However, I was like, wait, 2,000 people applied and only 20 got in. And I was one of 20. I was like, maybe I should do this. I don't know. But I didn't want to be an actor like my mom. But I thought, all right, I'll go to graduate school for acting because I'll learn how to talk to actors. I had a great time. I went to school with Billy Crudup and Robin Weigert and all these amazing actors Kevin Carroll, they're all working. You go to Apple TV or HBO Max, you'll see them 24 hours a day. Every day it's like, hey, there's that guy, Ben Shankman, he's on Billions. Hey, look, there's that guy. They're everywhere. Ended up ultimately finding a place in the world of voiceover, having done a one-woman show that was like a sketch comedy thing. And a voiceover agent said, you might do well with animation. And that was 1997. And CESD Talent in Los Angeles signed me. And I kind of stopped doing the on-camera stuff only because I started booking so much in voiceover and I was not available. Because, if you book an on-camera job, you sit in a trailer, you wait for the gaffer to I don't know what he's doing, whatever it is. And meanwhile, you could have done 40 voiceover jobs while you were sitting in the dressing room. So my voiceover agents were like, you're kind of at a crossroads here and you got to strike while the iron's hot. If the love is coming from voiceover, you might want to just go with that for now. So I did. And here we are, it's 2023 and I don't have an on-camera career. I basically have just been reading English out loud and hoping to help small children. That's kind of where we're at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. We always joke with the voice, just sitting in a room, making up funny voices and getting paid to do it, playing make believe.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
And
awesome.
it's kind of how I've always told stories in terms of, you can't really understand how someone said something if I don't imitate how they said it. It's sort of like a form of journalism. Maybe it's how my dad lives in me, but in a way, I've just been doing impressions my whole life. And so now when I get voiceover auditions, I think of who I know, who the character is like, and then I just do an imitation of them. And 9 times out of 10, most of the stuff that I have booked is based on someone I know, imitating them. Because I know exactly how they respond to any situation. Hera in Star Wars Rebels is the only character that isn't based on anyone but me. That's 100 grand, the best parts of me. And I just decided to be vulnerable at the mic and do that. And I'm really happy that it worked out.
That's incredible. Yeah, we're learning all types of behind the scenes secrets. I love it. Keep going. From Scott in the chats, he wants to know. I'm trying to frame this in a way that wouldn't break any kind of NDA or anything, but obviously with your role as Hera, and was there ever any conversation that maybe you reprise your role in Ahsoka?
Not necessarily, no. I never knew. I thought if I were going to have an on-camera career, that if Dave Filoni co-signed me saying, no, Vanessa did this character for 4 years, at least let her audition.
Mm,
If he co-signed me, that's probably the only way at this point that I would transition into an on-camera career. And I thought either this is going to be miraculous and kick off like the next chapter of my life, but that's not my destiny. And
mm,
because here's the thing, I could do on camera if I wanted to get in my car at 4 p.m. in a nurse outfit and drive all the way to Culver City an hour, dying, with traffic. And then like, hi, I'm Vanessa Marshall. I'm a nurse or whatever it is. And, like, I'm a nurse. I'm a nurse. And then and cut. Thank you very much. You're welcome. And then you walk and then you drive home. Like and who knows? Like I could totally do that. 100 grand. I could like sign up for all of that. I am not motivated to deal with that again. And I'm not saying like it's not all painful, but it's just it's a different process. Like I have a studio here at my house and I get these auditions and it's almost like I'm a chef or a magician and I can put together any soundscape that I want for my listener. I'm producing, directing. I'm going to create something that you might not hire me, but you'll respect me because this shit's going to blow your mind.
mm.
That's not how I feel when I'm driving in traffic for an hour and they get over there. So I have nothing but respect for that. And so I never felt entitled to play Hera.
Right.
I earned those frequent flyer miles back in the day and then transitioned to voiceover. But for me to think that I can just like waltz into the on-camera world, it's a completely different trade
Mm,
with utilizing different skills. It is the same, but equally, I'd say that when on-camera actors come into the voiceover studios, it's very different for them to relax in front of a microphone. And it's just as revealing
mm.
with moments of silence. It's just a different experience. So anyway, I really hoped that it would miraculously occur. It did not. So, but I'm really grateful that they got someone who's completely amazing to play Hera. So I can't wait to watch it
Yeah.
and just celebrate it. I'm so excited. It's
So
going to be great.
I hope so. But the second part of that too was because I know if you were, you wouldn't be allowed to say, but any chance you'd ever have like a cameo? Because a lot of times they'll pay homage to certain people in the.
No idea. Yeah, no, maybe that would happen. I don't know. I haven't gotten the news flash on that, but that would be incredible. That would
Yeah,
be amazing. Maybe that's another version of what I just
yeah,
described, where it might not be a full blown camera career, but like a fun day on set. I don't know. I would love it. I don't expect it. I don't feel entitled, and I wouldn't be upset if it never happened. I would be grateful. I'm grateful for everything I've already done, and happy to assist them further in storytelling in any way they would choose to hire me. So
that's awesome. So you're
yeah.
you're open to the opportunities if they were to arise.
Oh, hell yeah. Definitely.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Question from Jeff. He says, speaking of behind the scenes secrets, were there any behind the scenes secrets about his favorite Rebel scene when AP5, the droid, nearly breaks out into song?
Were there any favorites for me along those lines?
I mean, any favorite
Or,
scenes or any behind the scenes antics? Anything happening?
well, I've told this before when Jason Isaacs came. We were all trying to be good girls and boys and minding our P's and Q's. And he was like, what's this closet? And he went over and he like flung the door open and he found the miniature golf set. And we were like, we've been here for how many years? And we never even thought to open the fucking cupboard. I don't know, pardon my language. And so dude not only like goes into the cupboard, he sets up like a full golf course in the thing. Freddie was irate. Freddie was like, who is this guy? The audacity. And I mean, that's the worst Freddie impression in the world, but you feel me. He was just like, what is this guy's malfunction? But it was perfect because the Inquisitor is meant to drive Kanan up a wall.
Mm,
And so he would do a putt and then a line and then a putt. And Freddie was like, it was genius. So that was a fun behind the scenes thing. But I mean, I've told that story before. And then of course, whenever anyone would get hungry, I would run to the kitchen and I was like the mom of the group. I don't have kids, but I'm like, yo, your stomach's growling. Let me go get you a banana. And so that became our thing. And then I created these whole, there's an artist in England who has a stormtrooper with a banana as a gun because their aim is so true.
Sure.
Not so much, but anyway, I got shirts with that image printed on it, and that became like an inside joke. And I gave those away to people, and folks online received them. And but there was just a lot of love and family, chosen family feelings there. It was awesome.
Nice.
But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
that's some behind the scenes nutrition information for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One last question from the chat. So I'm gonna preface this because I ask this question often, and it's usually like, oh, it's what was your first big purchase? That first. But I'm gonna spin it that because everybody always goes like, oh, I started saving, or oh, I bought my car because I needed to get around. What's the first thing you splurged on? What was the first selfish? I'm gonna buy myself a thing that I didn't need.
New York Giants 50-yard line tickets with the full buffet, like a total dick. Everything. It was a complete waste of money in terms of like, what are you doing? I was like, this is it for me. And I was like on the 50-yard line, I was like, G-Man for life.
We are gonna get along when we're done here. I got some stuff I want to show you. We're gonna get along just fine. That is not a waste
Okay.
of money at
Uh,
all.
no,
Uh,
but I mean, I could have sat in like different seats. I didn't need
sure.
50-yard line. I didn't need to have like the baller buffet. I could have easily been at the game and supported the team, but I was like, bro, I got this. Like I said, my friend Donna in New York, she's like true, like we've been Giants fans forever. And I was like, bitch, we are going to this. And like I got us a car and we were just like, that's when I felt,
Nothing
yeah.
wrong with that. I love it. I absolutely love it. You're doing it right. You're doing it
Yeah,
right.
we had a blast, dude. It's like those memories, those are for life. It was worth every penny. It's not a waste of money, but you understand, it's not prudent spending.
Absolutely. No, no, not at all. If hey, G-men for life. Go big blue. If you're gonna spend money, spend it on
Yes,
the blue.
yes,
I'm with it.
yes.
Let me ask you. So my God, what is happening today? You have portrayed numerous memorable characters throughout your career. Is there any particular character that just holds a special place in your heart? Not necessarily that it was the most popular or most loved or anything, but just for whatever reason, it is just right there close to your heart.
Well, two come to mind again to keep the theme of me not answering a question with one answer. When I got Mary Jane Watson in Spectacular Spider-Man, I freaked out. I love Spider-Man. Again, huge Marvel nerd. And some of the movies at the time, I wasn't sure what was happening. And they were excellent in their own way, but to be given a shot to portray how Mary Jane supports Peter Parker through discovering his power and keeping it in balance, to me that was the luckiest experience in the world. And I love working with Greg Weisman. I obviously doing Young Justice, playing Black Canary, also cool. But another random role that was like, yeah, was Rick and Morty playing Ruth Bader Ginsburg. That was next level as well.
I was gonna say we kindred spirits because if I didn't say that I didn't enjoy Spider Man myself, I
Okay,
mean
let's go.
it's kind of weird how much we have in common. I'm just
I like
saying
it. I like it. I like it.
it's weird. It's weird, man. Another alternate timeline. I feel like the different dimensions were the same person. I don't know. Uh,
I love it. I love it, dude. I love it.
I was actually going to ask you too about. It's so funny that you would answer that because I was going to ask you about that 2005 playing Mary Jane Watson. Just again as
Yeah,
a spider file myself.
sure.
I can't think of a more partner. That's like Lois Superman level, right? That Mary
100%.
Jane,
Yeah.
Invisible Woman, Mr. Fantastic kind of level. I don't know. I think that she's such a powerful woman. I was like, when I was a kid, I was like, that's who I'm gonna marry, Mary Jane Watson. That's who I'm marrying.
Absolutely. I mean, when I got to say the "Face It, Tiger, you've hit the jackpot" line, oh my gosh. I was like, done, done. So grateful. Yeah.
That's
That was a
so
funny
awesome.
story because I remember I got the call back And they said, "Do you want to hear your audition for reference?" I said, "Yeah, sure." And they said, "Vanessa Marshall is Mary Jane." And then they turned it off. And I was like, "Bro, it's not helpful. Where's the read?" And they're like, "Oh no, the read sucked. You got it in the slate. So go ahead." Oh, thanks, guys. Like, so I basically like tried to riff off of the slate that I had done, which I guess is what I tried to do in the original audition. But you just never know, because some companies don't want you to slate in character, and other roles you might book just by the way you slate. Slating is saying your name in character.
Yeah, given the
FYI.
nation for the read.
All I'm saying is thank God I did that. you know.
That's awesome. Obviously, so we were talking about Metal Gear Solid Con earlier. Obviously, one of your big characters is Olga, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce Gergalovikovich.
I don't know, buddy.
Gerlakovich. I don't know. I'm not Russian. What can I say?
I know.
But that's the 2002 Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty video game. When you book that, I mean, obviously at the time, Metal Gear Solid was legendary, even before Part 2 came out, but nowhere on the, what it is today, which is 20 games deep or whatever it is, movies and animes and comic books and all that. So did you realize at the time just how iconic of a franchise it was and or would be?
Not at all. No. And I call it being a good dog. I was trying to be a good dog. Oftentimes good dogs don't book jobs because, like, I don't know, everyone's a good dog. They want the good dog who's like a little something else. But I remember I was trying to do like perfect Russian accent because I spent 3 years in drama school, aging, practicing this cluck, like a really thick. And they were like, "Can't understand a word you're saying. Could you lighten? We're so thrilled that you did 3 years at NYU, Tish. That's totally apparent. But can you calm down right now?" I said, "Yeah, sure. What do you need?" And they were like, "Why don't you pretend that she's like left the Soviet Union for quite a while, and it's not quite as thick." I was like, "Oh, okay." So I don't know. Maybe I wasn't doing a great job of it, but I had to lessen it, and that was actually true when I played Black Widow, Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Natasha Romanoff. She also had an accent that was apparently too thick. Anyway, but anyway, we went in and we dubbed, and I had a great time. I learned a lot and a valuable lesson to not try to be so authentic all the time. And here we are today, and we're going to be celebrating it on July 15th. So if you like Olga, come on out. And then Dr. Strangelove, and we've got the boss coming. We've got Lori Allen coming. It's totally bananas.
Yeah.
I never would have known. And I'll never forget when I think I had a PS3 back in the day, and I saw the Konami credits and, sort of the interstitials it was just, at the time, it was earth-shatteringly, profound as far as the animation goes. I've never seen anything like it. And now today, PS5 is like a whole other experience. It's even better, but back then it was pretty magical.
I'm curious with a game like that. I'm trying to take myself back because I played it. I was like a day and day release guy. I played it. And there was a lot of controversy with that game in that, people bought it to play as Solid Snake. And after like a little tutorial level, you're now playing this character Raiden for the rest of the game. Do you recall? Because if you didn't know much about the game or you just kind of went in cold and when the game came out, did you understand all this controversy? Did you understand like why are people hating on this game?
No, and I don't believe we were dealing with social media so much back then, so I wasn't even aware of much of it. At the time, I was addicted to playing Madden football. And you know what I mean? I was like, I can't trifle with this Solid Snake dude. I was like, too much ta ta ta. I'm like, for whatever reason, I would play the Baltimore Ravens because their defense, I could like literally eat popcorn and not even pay attention, and kick serious ass. And I was playing NHL, so I didn't really get into the game back in the day. Whereas now, we're going to be streaming this Thursday and every Thursday straight up until July 15th. If you guys want to come hang out on Twitch, it's the same as my Instagram handle. It's at Vanessa Marshall 1138, 1138, which is an ode to George Lucas's first film. Those of you who got that. But I did just get a text from Amanda, the very same girl who, or woman, she's a full grown woman, an adult. Amanda said that we can 100% do a fan ticket giveaway. So I'm not sure how you want to do that, whether it's virtual or in person. So I don't know how you do fan giveaways. If you, yeah,
We'll
okay, all
coordinate.
right,
We're gonna structurally coordinate and make sure we most impact out of it.
right on. Sounds good. But we got the green light.
Awesome. So okay, so you kind of mentioned it earlier. You've alluded to a lot of the characters you've played. I looked over your IMDb page and wow, like you said, 100 is in games, and then there's the movies and animated movies and the TV series and like I was literally trying to like, okay, what am I gonna pick that we're gonna talk about? I'm like, oh, she did, oh, but okay, but there's this one. Oh man, but oh man, there's so much. There's so much. I literally do not have enough time. And oh my God, we're running short on time as it is too. I just looked at the time. My
I'll
goodness.
have to come back. I'll come back. We should do like a recap of the event
Absolutely.
after or
Oh,
something.
absolutely. Without a doubt. Without a doubt, we'll make that happen. So let me pick one or two, just because I
Mhm.
know we got to get you out of here on time. I'm curious because in just so let's as an instance, as in Marvel and DC, you've played heroes and villains on both sides, right? So in
Mhm.
DC, you've done Wonder Woman, but then
Uh-huh.
you've also done Poison Ivy. So
Yeah.
what is it like for you as an actress, but also as kind of a fan to get to play iconic roles on both, Jedi and Sith, so to speak?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Another interesting Marvel character that I played was Gamora because she sort of transitions from the dark side and sort of
Right.
seeks redemption with her new chosen family. But what was that like? It was phenomenal. I hoped to bring all the best parts of myself, like I did for Hera, to Wonder Woman, to just be available. I took a class with Rob Paulson, and Rob said every time before he gets in front of the mic, he says, "God, help me get out of your way." Remember that all of our self criticism and self doubt and all these sort of bad mental habits, if you will, or whatever those safety mechanisms are, to transcend those and just be available to the best parts. And then conversely, to sort of explore those and, dig into them, sort of the dark side, to get into some of the villainous characters. But I mean, like, even if you look at a character like Darth Vader, dark, dude. In the sense that, whenever I go to 501st events and the Darth Vader dude standing there, I'm like, oh, he's up there with Thrawn. I'm like, oh, I just have this reaction. But I remind myself that it's never that simple. It's always nuanced. That guy has like crazy abandonment issues with his mom, Padme.
Sure.
Dude's recovering from pain. And it's never as simple as like, oh, he's just bad, all bad. Like everyone's doing the best they can. And sometimes it's a scarier version. So I love finding that sweet spot to find their humanity. And sometimes they're not human characters, but you know what I'm saying. I
Sure.
really get into the complexity, and I love researching the history of the roles because they are so iconic. I have different encyclopedias for Marvel, for DC, and I look at the different iterations, the different versions over time in the different comic books, and love to nerd out on research and then forget it all and just go to the studio and have fun.
Nice. So basically, that was another question I was going to ask is because a lot of these characters have so much backstory, have so much lore associated with them. When you book something like that, I was going to say, do you go back? Do you see the different storylines and their
Yeah,
look and their style and
yeah,
all these things?
definitely,
Nice.
definitely. Yeah. I love to do that. I love.
And we do got to get, and I promised I was going to get you out the door on time, but I just, again, I avoid Injustice, Mortal Kombat. You were Samus in Metroid Prime.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
yeah, Jedi Knight Outcast, or sorry, Jedi Outcast, Star
Uh-huh.
Wars Resistance, Star Wars Rebels. I mean, there's freaking much. We definitely gonna have to have you come back again because We got to talk about the Marvel stuff and the DC stuff, the Star Wars
Yeah.
stuff. You're in was it Lower Decks in Star Trek? So you hit
Yeah, man.
everything. You've hit
Dude.
everything.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
So
Yeah.
last question, because I think it'll be a good tie off to this, is that is there a dream role or character that you have yet to portray, and what makes that character special?
Jean Grey.
Great. Okay.
Yeah, I came
Okay.
really close. It's interesting that I share Samus with Jennifer Hale, and I went to the X-Men. I think it was a Wolverine cartoon. Yeah, I think it was the Wolverine cartoon. I played a character, Dr. Vertigo, I believe. And there was one final line at the end of it that was Jean Grey's line. They were like, "Hey, Vanessa, would you like to just cover that line? You want to do that line?" And I did it, and I looked down and I saw Jean Grey, and I tried to act all cool. And I walked to my car and I was like, wait, did I just book the role of Jean Grey? I think that's all my dreams have just actually come true. And then Jennifer Hale ended up booking the job. And they probably just asked me to scratch it, but I wasn't sure if they had just offered. I didn't know what happened, but for a brief moment, I came like this close. So someday,
Someday
I just,
we're gonna
I think
start a fan petition. We're gonna demand that Vanessa Marshall gets Jean Grey. If anyone deserves it, you do.
oh,
I'm only ending this because, like I said, I'm a man of my word. I'm going to keep you out on it. You have commitments that you have to get to. This has been a freaking phenomenal conversation. I thank you
yeah, dude, I
so
can't wait
much.
to meet you. I'm so excited for July 15th. Thank you
I
so much.
cannot wait. I'm sure we're going to geek out all day.
Yeah, yeah. Dude,
Yeah,
I know. I think they sat us next to each other. We're just gonna be like, yeah,
that's
I
we're gonna
can't
nerd
wait.
out all day. I'll
Yeah.
leave you the last few seconds here just to say goodbye to the audience, and then I'll toss us to a break.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Lots of love. Thank you for having me.
All right, we'll have more from Vanessa Marshall soon when we do our part two and when we do the convention. But guys, stay tuned. We'll be back right after this. Ciao.